Hey guys, Toast here. Today marks the start of what I hope will be a brand new series in which I'm going to analyze the least and most used weapon variants for each class in Battlefield 1, and discuss if the weapons are really that underpowered or overpowered, as well as what I believe DICE may be able to do in order to make the weapon fall more in line with the others in the class. All statistics are courtesy of BattlefieldTracker.com and are based on the amount of time spent using each weapon, not necessarily how many kills have been achieved with those weapons. Today's topic of discussion is going to be the M1907 SL Factory variant, which historically and consistently since launch has been the single least used weapon variant of all self-loading rifles for the medic class. Now we're going to make the baseline assumption that if all weapons were perfectly balanced, given that at the time this video is being released including current DLC weapons, there are a total of 18 variants of self-loading rifles for the medic class, theoretically we should be seeing around a roughly 5.5% usage time for each rifle. According to the actual usage statistics, the M1907 SL Factory variant is being used by roughly 0.6 to 0.7% of the Battlefield 1 community while running the medic class. Essentially, the community as a whole is choosing this particular weapon less than 1% of the time, which I would say is a pretty significant indication of where the weapon currently stands. While there is statistically a cluster of other medic weapons that have consistently fallen low on the usage scale, which we'll hopefully cover in future episodes, no other weapon in the class has fallen as low as consistently as the M1907 Factory. In looking at its historical usage, the first couple weeks after release, the weapon was used even less frequently, though that's understandable as players were just getting the game and working with the Che Regati to start leveling up the class. From the point after the first few weeks up until the release of They Shall Not Pass, the weapon fell roughly within a 0.5 to 0.8% usage range. It's seen a little bit of a boost as of the beginning of March 2017, with one day just barely reaching above 1% usage, but that's still far less than we should be expecting. Let's start with what we know about the M1907 as a whole compared to the other weapons for the class. We know that all variants of the weapon are very close range oriented, in fact arguably one of the most close range oriented of all weapons for the medic class. The only other variant that really even comes close is the auto-loading 8 extended. We know that the M1907 has one of the largest magazine sizes of all medic weapons, bested only by the Selbstlader M1916, along with one of the slowest muzzle velocities and highest recoil severities, again solidifying its place against other weapons as a close-range option. Based on the map sizes of Battlefield 1 in general, with the majority of maps falling into the medium to large categories, it wouldn't come as a surprise that many people would choose not to run a close-range weapon, but the odd thing is that the M1907 Sweeper variant is actually the most used medic weapon variant, so map size obviously doesn't play as huge a role in this as one might expect. In looking at other weapon usages, variants of the Che Regati, Selbstlader 1906, and auto-loading also fall at the low end of the usage spectrum, and those weapons overall are much more situated to medium to long-range engagements. For all intents and purposes, the M1907 has a strong hold on the close-range end of medic weapons, pretty much only contested by the auto-loading 8 extended. Now let's delve a little deeper into the differences between the variants themselves. The Sweeper variant has the option of fully automatic fire as well as the best vertical recoil of the group, so right there are two very good reasons to choose that particular variant. This makes it the easiest one to control and the least reliant on trigger speed. The Trench variant has easily the most favorable hipfire spread, which compounds with the other close-range aspects of the weapon to favor its ideal range. The Factory variant, however, only excels in one aspect over the others, which is the recoil decrease, or the speed at which the sights return to their starting position between each shot. There are no other tangible benefits for this particular variant, so that means there's no real compelling reason to choose it. If you're going to use the M1907 and you have the options of a variant with automatic fire and lower recoil, or a variant with much better hip fire for spam firing, why then would you willingly choose a third option for a close-range weapon whose only benefit is reacquiring your target slightly faster while aiming down sight? Now to answer the question, is the weapon underpowered? It seems to me that based on what we've discussed so far, the M1907 Factory variant doesn't necessarily suffer from being grossly underpowered or outclassed by other weapons or variants. It seems that instead, it just doesn't offer any notable gameplay-altering benefit over the other variants of the exact same weapon. It still deals the same potential damage as the other M1907 variants, and still excels in close range compared to other weapons for the medic class, but it doesn't stand out as having any other tangible benefit over using the Sweeper or Trench variants. So with that said, in my personal opinion, no, the weapon is not underpowered, it's just a little bit lackluster. So how can DICE go about fixing this? Well, they would have to give the variant something that's going to make it worth using, but not make it much more powerful so as not to throw off the balance between the other variants. To me, there are two changes that I feel could make the variant more interesting and perhaps more worthwhile to use. The These suggestions aren't guaranteed to work, and of course are just my opinion of options that may be worth trying. The first is to increase the maximum damage distance an additional 5 to 10 meters, while keeping the minimum damage the same. This would allow the weapon to deal slightly more damage at longer ranges, but by giving it a more steep drop-off to match the minimum damage range of the other two variants, it wouldn't make it too powerful at too far a distance. In conjunction with this, I think they could also slightly decrease the ADS spread while moving to make it more accurate while firing on the go. With those two changes, you would then have a variant of a close-range weapon that's more favorable to mid-range but still good at close range, making it a more unique version of the weapon. It could turn what is currently a very lackluster and relatively useless variant into a more run-and-gun mid-range option, still making it useful at close range, but without making it too strong at medium or long range. Now I want to know how you feel about the M1907 Factory variant. Do you feel like it's particularly underpowered? How would you go about changing it to increase its usage without making it unbalanced? Let me know in the comments. If you liked the video, please leave a like, and if you want to see more content, please subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Toast, and I'll talk to you soon.